Oh my God. If I have any wish, if we only have 4 days left of TikTok, it's that of all the TikToks I've ever made, this one goes viral. That every progressive and Democrat and independent listens to this TikTok. And all the credit goes to Jim Stewartson. He just penned an article, came out today. It's called Biden's Alternate Reality, a farewell to the establishment. And Jim Stewartson has spent his whole adult career fighting disinformation. And this is just... On August 2nd, 2020, I saw a terrifying movement, a neo-Nazi online cult referred to as QAnon by the press, metastasize through bizarre conspiracies and game mechanics that I helped invent, not me, 20 years ago. 6 months later, it attacked the Capitol, as I predicted. I have spent every day since trying to warn about it through the entire Biden administration. 1,627 days, 20,000 hours, 107,000 tweets, 10,000 videos, 1,600 articles, hundreds of podcasts, 2 frivolous lawsuits. When Musk started to show his true colors 3 years ago, I warned what he was. As he weaponized Twitter to brainwash people into his techno-Nazi worldview, and Mike Flynn traveled the country on a QAnon tour, I yelled into the void that we were missing the point over and over and over again. It all came to naught, of course. The Department of Justice and FBI were fatally compromised, and the president made a decision that protecting, quote, norms and institutions was more important than protecting American citizens from being brainwashed or holding people accountable for January 6th. Despite what seemed like a valiant effort to torpedo Trump by Jack Smith, it all went out with a whimper. Smith's final report on J6 is a relic, the retelling of an attempt to work in a system that was never going to let him succeed. Tonight, Joe Biden will give a speech touting his successes, and it's true that he set the economy back on track and passed meaningful legislation, just like all Democratic presidents do. But like all Democrats, he didn't fix or even acknowledge the real problem. Joe Biden says, quote, we braved through it. We emerged stronger, more prosperous, and more secure, unquote. I beg to differ. Joe Biden never left the alternate reality of the establishment. He surrounded himself with milquetoast aides, I've never heard that word before, who fed him the positive outcomes he was looking for, but never gave him the truth. The quote, America Joe Biden fixed the economy for is dead. The establishment alternate reality he will talk about tonight is dead. None of what he did matters because the other alternate reality, the fascist conspiracy movement created by Flynn and his co-conspirators, now replicated at monstrous scale by Musk, is more powerful and more organized with infinite financial resources. This is not Trump 2.0. It's a takeover by the PayPal mafia, a group of Nazi immigrants who saw us as a soft target. The reality is that, like every Republican president since Nixon, the Republicans had to cheat to win the White House. And like most, they had to collude with our foreign enemies to succeed. But this time is fundamentally different. At the inauguration on Monday will be the American oligarchy, a group of psychopaths competing to be the world's first trillionaire, conspiring about how best to create hardship and austerity to suck the last remaining money out of the treasury so they can create a feudalist, eugenicist slave state. A feudalist, eugenicist slave state. Trump will issue 100 plus executive orders decimating everything Biden did and plunging the nation into terror on day one. Musk now has office space in the White House, as will numerous other billionaires in the cabinet and other top positions in the government. Jeff Bezos and Mark Zuckerberg, who pretended to be in favor of democracy and control a massive swath of the digital and physical economy, have completely capitulated. Tim Cook and numerous other tech billionaires donated to Trump's inauguration slush fund. The Russians are quite pleased about it. All of this was preventable. All of it was foreseeable. But for 4 years, nothing was done to stop it. Joe Biden allowed himself to be lulled into complacency, into thinking that if we just did the right thing, it will all work out. Sadly, those days are over because people have been lied to for so long, they think the right thing is to destroy their own country. I respect the president and his 50 years of service. In many ways, he did an admirable job, but in the most important job he had, the oath to protect and defend the Constitution and the American people, he turned out to be another old man living in an alternate reality created for him by others. The truth of the matter is that we are at war, and the president was never honest about it. His administration presided over the end of the American experiment as we knew it. He will be seen in history as our Paul von Hindenburg, who handed over power in a peaceful transition to Hitler. That said, I have not and will never give up on my country. Perhaps, in the end, like kleptocratic kakistocracy being installed, and the horrors that regime will execute are the only thing that will snap us out of it. Perhaps we will emerge from the wreckage and we will be better, but that will not happen on its own. We must protest, resist, and sabotage every attempt at seizing more power. We must stop being afraid to get in their face as they try to defraud us out of our rights, labor, and resources. We must stop being afraid to call Russia the enemy, a terrorist state that must be defeated, not a legitimate nation. Unfortunately, neither history or power will be in our hands after Monday. The power of our military, our economic might, and the labor of people will be handed over to a transnational crime syndicate who wants to remake the planet. The way forward is opaque, but I am convinced it exists. I do not think America per se is finished, but unfortunately, quote, we brave through it, is a line absurdly premature. Nevertheless, brave through it we will be. And he ends it with the American flag. Wow. Maybe this can get in the hands of all the DNC members who are voting for the new Democratic National DNC chair position, that everybody related to Obama, Clinton, and Biden, that whole establishment, needs to bow and step away for good. Jim Stewartson, mind/war.com. Go subscribe to his channel. He's got incredible articles and research in there about disinformation.